What's up, it's Kim. Welcome back to another episode of Threshold Mapping, and if you don't know what it is, check out my previous video. But really quick, it's basically a productivity system that focuses on transitional periods in life, which uses concepts of gamification and your imagination, switching up terminologies in a creative way to make productivity or planning things more fun. There are three parts to threshold mapping. The first one is basically it's the past, present, and future, and today I'm going to be talking about the past, which is, I call it the chronicle, because this is when you really take your past into account. You tell your story. So in this case, you're doing a yearly threshold mapping, so you would tell your story of 2016. You were going to review like the lessons you learned, the good things that happened, the bad things that happened, some of the challenges you met, some of the new projects you started, and stuff like that. All using really fun creative terminology. So here we go. So just to put it out there, threshold mapping is it's really just a guideline or just a concept that you can use to apply to your own sort of planning process. So it could take any form or shape. For example, you could use this as journal prompts, you could write it down in a notebook, you could actually prepare like a visual map or a vision board, and you can actually draw the map if you're really artistic, and and then you can actually draw the things that I imagine, unlike me. You can also just use this as conversation starters and just talk to a friend, have them hold space for you, or you can just do it in your head or talk to yourself. But either way, hopefully this all the prompts that I'm going to give you will help inspire you, and then help you gain some insight from your previous year, and hopefully enjoy the process as well. So I certainly enjoyed it when I wrote the blog post. Oh, speaking of which, if you want to read more about it, or if you want like a textual account of what I'm going to cover in this video, you could go check out my blog post. There's some examples in there too. And there's like a couple exercises in there. I think there's just one or two. It's not a lot, but you know, if you want like more information, feel free to check out that blog post. So in the chronicle portion, so basically recounting your past, so there are different categories or sections that you can do. So the first thing, obviously, you want to kind of get an overview of what happened in 2016. So you would note down the important landmarks. So, and you can be creative with these landmark names. So for example, you've experienced a breakup. You can say, oh, you have traversed the bog of internal stench, or the breakup bog of eternal stench, so shadows or labyrinth. And you can give them really creative names like climbing up that mount promotion, or stung by a love bee, or something like that. So really just the really big important events that when you think of the year 2016, these are the first things that you think about. So note those down, and then go to and then you can go to the next step after. So after you've noted down important things, you will note down all the lucky moments that you've had. So I call this the stroke of luck, or you can give it like a different name, or like Fortuna, or Visits by Fortuna, or Lucky Stars, or something like that. You know, you can change it up. It doesn't have to be stroke of luck. It's basically you're just kind of noting down all the good things that happen to you. So in a way, it's sort of like just like a little gratitude journaling, really. Because I personally believe that the sense of luck is it really depends on your perspective. And the luckier you feel, or rather, the more you appreciate the opportunities that come to you, the more you appreciate the good things that come to you, the more luck that you'll have. So that's my personal belief. And this is a place where this category is a place where you could just note down all the good things that happen to you. What are some really nice things that have been offered to you? What are some of the nice gestures that have been offered to you that make you feel really lucky, that make you feel really blessed, that make you feel like you're really while you didn't do anything, but this person or this event or this thing, they're really giving you something special. So note down all the lucky moments in 2016, and that's the second thing. So third thing is, I call this the feat of courage. So you know, life has the good, the bad, and the ugly. So now that we've addressed the good, we obviously have to look at the bad and the ugly. And so this is not going to be like, oh, note down all the shitty things in your life, or note down all the challenges in your life. Well, I guess challenges, yes. But I personally believe that challenges are there. They're not inherently negative. They're not there to like just make us feel like shit, you know. They're there because I feel like it's a way. Oh, let me put it this way. So challenges are inevitable in life. So there's going to be difficult times, there's going to be good times, and there's going to be darker times and more difficult times. So the darker and more difficult times are the times where we really get to rise up to the occasion and tap into our inner resources and our strength and really display our personal courage. So that's why I call this the feats of courage, because it's when we really have to dive in and dig deep and really have to problem solve and really have to like rely on our strength and our sense of empowerment to do this. So it's, you know, like, again, it's like a perspective thing. Instead of saying like, oh, all these shitty things happened to me and it was so hard and I have to get through it, blah blah blah, focus on yourself, focus on how you deal with the problem, how you showed up for yourself. And if you haven't, so what are, you can think about what are some of the ways you could show up for yourself better, what are some of the inner resources or strengths that you haven't tapped into last year that you can't that you can tap into this year. So note down your feats of courage, note down how you face challenges, what your attitudes were, what actions you've taken. You can even note down your problem solving process for the future, it could be useful. So note down like note down the good things that you've done for yourself. Note down how you have made things better and how you were brave and how you were awesome and how you kicked life's ass despite the lemons that it gave you. Next, okay, so now that we look at the good times and the bad times, so basically all the times. Now you can look at what are some of the lessons that you've learned. So the wisdom you have accumulated. So this is a pretty fun category. I feel like you could sort of create characters for this category. You could say like maybe one of this random person you met, they're like a wise sage, like hidden in the mountains, and you didn't even know he was that wise, but then he gave you this words of advice, and you're like, wow, I get it now. So this is where you sort of connect with the lessons you learned, the things you've learned, what you've done better, what you've been doing better, what are some of the realizations you had about yourself, some of the insights, spiritual insight, emotional insight, insights about relationship, jobs, what's something that you learned that can go toward the betterment of yourself or the betterment of your life. So something a wisdom that you've extracted from your experiences or that you're sort of extracting now, or things that you've come to realize that will actually help you when you are moving forward in life. So yeah, that's the wisdom part. And then you're going to note down the portals. So portals are sort of like opportunities or doorways, or I guess thresholds. These are kind of places that led you to places or events or opportunities that allow you to expand and explore and do something different, so do something new. So this could be like maybe a club that you discover and then a group of like-minded individuals. Someone, like it's like something new for you. You've never found this group of people that you connected so well. So that could be something you can learn. It's like, wow, there's this new thing that I discovered, and it's bringing in a lot of good, vibrant energy into my life, and this is definitely something I have invested in more, and then probably something that I'm going to invest even more time in, stuff like that. So just new things that you've tried, could even be like a talent you developing or new skill that you're learning, guitar, or maybe you picked up singing. I might be doing some singing lessons this year actually. But yeah, new things that you've learned, that you've tried. So these are portals that sort of allowed you to see the potential in something, that kind of opened up the door for you, that opened up tons of possibilities for you. So it's something or a person, an event, or a place that made you feel like this is somewhere like I could go. You'd uncovered more of the map. You could go, into the world, and you could like do more with your life, and you could try these all these different new things. So that's that. And then of course there's the fog of war. So in case you don't know, if you're not a gamer, if you've never heard of this term before, fog of war is basically when you play like a strategy game, you would sort of micromanage like the armies, and you have to produce armies and blah blah blah. But fog of war is basically the areas on your map that's not lit. So those represent the unexplored areas, like areas basically just pitch black on that mini map on the in the bottom, like in the corner of your screen. It's places that you haven't been, and usually how it works is once you've actually been to that place, it would be uncovered on the map. It would be lit on the map. So basically fog of war represents like places that you haven't been, but you know that it's kind of there, but you just haven't actually gone there yet, so you don't know exactly what the landscape is like, but you're aware of that area. You know that it's unexplored and untapped into. So this is kind of really like going to the future portion a little bit. This is kind of like, okay, what are some of the things that you're aware of, some of the opportunities or events that's in your knowledge and that's sort of within your awareness, but you just haven't had the time or the guts or just didn't have a chance to really go and explore that area. So it could be like going back to portals. It could be like a skill that you wanted to pick up, you've been thinking about it a lot, you know that there's this class on promotion or something, but you just never been. Or you heard about this great yoga instructor and you're just like, oh, I should start yoga, or I should switch yoga classes and go in there and give it a try, but you just never really done it. And it could be something that you want to pursue this year, so it's something that you can note down. So kind of like note down all the things that you've thought about trying, or you heard like kind of good things that you heard about and you're like, oh, I could do this, I could do that, but I haven't had a chance to go explore. So note down these unexplored areas, and this could lead to something wonderful like this year. Right? It could be part of your goal settings. This could be part of your part of your new sense of purpose or whatever. So this could basically just potentially explorable areas in your life. So those are all the main categories I've so far, and basically you would take all these categories, you would you don't have to follow it to the T, just do whatever you want with them. These are really just tools that I want to throw out. Like I said, it's totally flexible. You could do it on a piece of paper, you can actually map it out, you can just do like a very simple map, or you can go full out and do like a fantastical map with detailed like layers and contours or whatever. Or you can even do like a contour map, like those weather like or geographical maps or whatever. I don't know how those works, but that's up to you, or your vision boards, do on a computer or whatever, do it however that you want. So no pressure, no limits, no restraints. So just let your imagination fly, let your creativity fly, let your intuition flow. And before I go, I just kind of want to give you all the honorable mentions. So these are kind of like the smaller categories that didn't make the big list, but I thought they could be significant and it could inspire you to write something new, or just maybe just give you more food for thought, really. So there's like 4 that didn't make the big list. So one of them is the angels. So I thought this kind of is similar to like the luck category, noting all the good things. But angels, I guess it's more people specific, like people that you're really grateful for, like people who really like has a genuine relationship with you, like really like genuine interest in helping you, like really care for you, really guided you, really supported you in different ways, and they could be healers, mentors, teachers, or just a loved one. Who are the angels in your life? Like I think that it's good to keep track. I might actually move this to the big list, actually. But yeah, who were the angels in 2016? Like, and don't forget to include yourself, because have you been an angel to yourself? And if you haven't, how could you be more supportive and compassionate towards yourself? Right? It's self-love is always important. You should always be a friend to yourself and not bully yourself, as many of us do. But yeah, that's angels. And another one is tricksters. So I bet you were expecting to hear demons or devils. I'm actually not going to use the word devil, I'm going to use the word trickster. Devil is more like our inner demons. Those are the shadows within us. That the shadow inside of us it's what we have to explore, it's what we have to make peace with. It's something that we could untangle and shed light to, and but yeah, it's gonna take another video to explain this, but basically I feel like it's something more internal, like devils or demons. I feel like they represent our inner shadow. So I use the word trickster because I feel like on one hand it's something more external that's coming in. It's something that literally like really messed up your life. That's what tricksters do. They basically mess things up so you can put everything back together again. So maybe think about something that was really messed up for you, like it was like a disaster, it was annoying, it was inconvenient, but at the end it was kind of like, I didn't know I could do better, or I didn't know I could like be this good, or I didn't know like I could actually make things better, I didn't know I had the strength in me. So something that made you realize that you were really strong and brave and courageous. Okay, and then the last two, I stole this from National Writing Month, so these are terms just associated with that event. So they're plot bunnies and plot ninjas. So plot ninjas are kind of like WTF moments where you're just like, what happened? It's so random and you're still making sense of it, it's not fully processed, and it's just like stirred up your life so much, and it's such a big impactful event, and then you're still sort of in the middle of digesting it. So these are plot ninjas, and plot bunnies on the other hand are sort of like kind of like portals in Fog of War. Plot bunnies are sort of like this story that you really want to live out, like this aspect of the story that you really want to live out. It's like I guess it's more has to do with intention. It's something that you really, really want to try. Maybe things that you wish you should have said, or things that you really want to say to someone, or this blog that you really wanted to start, you know? So that's like plot bunnies. It's like it won't go away until you actually write it into your narrative. It's like this inner drive, or like this inner dreams, or something that's driving you. It's just in the back of your head, and it won't leave you alone. So that's a plot bunny. And yeah, I think I've said everything that I want to say about the first part of threshold mapping, which is about which is the chronicle, which is about noting, recounting your past. So let me know if you have any sort of like new categories that you come up with, or that you can think of that I haven't mentioned in this video. Leave it down in the comments below, and let me know what you think of this whole threshold mapping thing. Because like it's something that I'm really, really excited to explore and expand on. So, you know, good to hear like feedback and opinions. So let me know what you think, and I'll be back with like the two other parts, which is the hero status report, and also mark your North Star, which is, you know, for the present and the future. And yeah, I think that's it. So stay tuned for part 2 and maybe part 3. I might combine them into 2 videos, but don't know yet. Meanwhile, I should have like a little like tagline at the end. Meanwhile, keep calm and drink tea.